KSI versus Dillon Danis is taking place in January on the next Misfits card. This was confirmed at the last event after a lot of back and forth in the past, which came to a breaking point when Dillon Danis threw a drink in KSI's face at their face-off. Now Dillon Danis is going to be fighting KSI, and people think that this fight is a good challenge for KSI, where KSI may even lose. There is no way he can beat KSI. In fact, this fight will not be close and is not even fair. After reviewing fight clips from Dillon Danis and KSI, I've come to the conclusion that Dillon Danis won't even come close to beating KSI. Here's exactly why. Now we're going to take a look at a few aspects. First, we're going to have a look at their records, stats, and general physical attributes, along with the level of competition. KSI, 5 fights, 3 pro fights, 2 KOs, 1 TKO, 1 draw, and 1 decision. Already, KSI has a good amount of experience, as we can see. He's been tested, especially with Logan Paul, in both fights, having to combat height and pressure with Logan Paul while eating shots. With Swarms and Pineda, well, although he hasn't been tested with them, he gained experience. Now here you'll notice the first reason why this match won't really be close. Dillon Danis has a record of 2-0 in Bellator. His fights have primarily been on the ground, with one of his fights being on the ground pretty much the whole time. He's been tested in terms of groundwork, but it's hard to say he's been tested in striking, and that's all that matters in a boxing match. Overall, we can see how KSI already has the edge in terms of experience, but there are other aspects to look at. Dillon Danis is taller. Dillon Danis is 6 foot, while KSI is 5'11". Not a crazy height difference, and therefore won't really be a game-changing difference here. That's pretty much everything in terms of their physical stats. It's also worth mentioning that Dillon Danis has a KO percentage of 0 and has only submitted his opponents. So although KSI has the edge on physical attributes and experience, we also have to talk about the most important aspect in a boxing match: the actual skill of both. And after reviewing both KSI's and Dillon Danis' fights, certain aspects of both skill stood out, things which can be exploited by both, but it still remains obvious KSI would win. It's hard to find footage for Dillon Danis striking. We only have a few examples of it. However, from what we do have, we can still get a good idea for how he'll stand and how he boxes. He's immediately seen with a low guard. Fighting with a low guard is not great when KSI likes to use one thing a lot: that overhand right. We can also consider the fact that as KSI has gotten faster over time, as we've seen with his most recent fights, he may be able to get that right delivered to Dillon before Dillon Danis can move back or bring his guard up. KSI likes to set up that right with a jab, so a jab to the body to further divert Dillon Danis' hands would be smart. KSI most recently was seen with a high guard prominently. However, this drops as he gets comfortable. Dillon Danis has a low guard throughout, and so this aspect of Dillon's defense is easier to exploit. In the later rounds, this may be the case even more as his stamina drops. Looking at Dillon Danis' speed, he's quite fast with what we've seen. Also, he can throw good combinations while maneuvering around his opponent, but the people he has fought have not given him anything back for it. In his boxing footage, he throws and doesn't really get a response. This means he's seen on the aggressive foot, moving forward and landing because he feels like he just can do it. However, KSI is not someone you can easily apply pressure to without getting a response. Dillon Danis almost always relies on the opponent to not give anything back. If we see some of his footage, he can easily change angles with his opponents, which is impressive as he's able to move off that center line and deliver these combinations. But again, with someone like KSI, he would have to be extremely quick to pull off a good few shots. He would have to blind KSI and maneuver around him to land any significant shots. KSI applying pressure and not allowing any openings to be existent as he tries to maintain this high guard would mean that Dillon will struggle to land anything significant. KSI would be the aggressor, and especially after Dillon Danis has eaten a few shots, he would play defensive, while KSI gains points. Now here's where things get interesting. Dillon Danis is an MMA fighter, and as we've talked about, he's good at maneuvering himself around his opponent, along with being good at using his weight to tire out and exhaust his opponents. If he were to pose a threat to KSI, he would have to be in a close proximity of him to possibly get through to KSI and use his MMA skills in this boxing fight. However, one thing KSI does really well is feign and make it awkward for opponents to get near him, with the fact that he's got that right hand which could land at any moment means that opponents don't get anywhere near him. Dillon Danis would struggle to utilize his MMA skills such as grappling, clinching or maneuvering due to this. Finally, a few things which are crucial to KSI winning this fight, which we haven't fully discussed: the pressure, aggression and combinations of KSI. In KSI's most recent fights, although he didn't get to showcase all of his skills, he managed to show one thing, and that was his aggressive nature. He didn't back down. You may think this was because he has easy opponents, but the same was apparent with Logan Paul. He does not give his opponents a break. This nicely leads me onto exactly how KSI would win. Dillon Danis has not got much experience at all, not even in MMA. He hasn't been pushed to late rounds. KSI has been improving his stamina and endurance. We can see how the gap between these two in terms of stamina stamina and endurance is therefore very wide. In the later rounds where Dillon Danis is tired, with his arms dropped further and while he's on his back foot, KSI can use his right hand, his combinations and his stamina to finish the job. I mean, we saw Anthony Taylor almost knock him out with one right. So in my opinion, KSI can beat Dillon Danis quite easily. It's an accumulation of many things. One of the main reasons, however, is that Dillon Danis is not really experienced at all and hasn't developed many boxing skills. Dillon Danis can throw a punch but is better at groundwork, which is not useful in a boxing match. KSI, however, has taken the time to learn boxing specifically and has more recently developed small intricacies. Along with KSI's natural aggression, power and speed, along with the aspects we talked about in today's video, KSI wins this easily. It does go without mentioning that Dillon Danis may well have developed more boxing skills behind the scenes, but going off of what's out there, KSI wins. Subscribe and let me know who wins this fight with a reason in the comments below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Alright guys, I wanted to make a quick appearance at the end of this video to say a quick thank you. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers and not long after that, we hit 1,200 subscribers, which is crazy. To think that it took me, over 2 years of weekly uploading to get 200 subscribers, and I only got 200 subscribers earlier on this year, and to think that I got 200 subscribers within like a week after hitting 1,000 is crazy. People have been really enjoying this content. I'm really enjoying the type of videos I'm making now, and the main reason I've been consistent with it is because I've been enjoying it so much. And seeing the amount of love on the channel, people, liking the videos, commenting, subscribing, it shows me that you guys are enjoying it, or so I hope. Yeah, it's been great to see that. Look forward to making more videos like this. They're honestly really fun. So I've been really enjoying this and I hope to stay consistent for as long as I can. Yeah, I want to say thank you. Obviously I didn't really make a 1,000 subscriber thank you video, so I thought now would be a good time to say thank you guys for that. I recently got an email from YouTube giving me my yearly wrap up, and this year was crazy compared to last year. I believe this year I got about 500,000 views on my channel. With my goal at the end of this year, I think I set it at 150,000 views for the end of the year. So to think I hit 500,000 views at the end of the year is crazy. I also gained 1,007 new subscribers this year, which is just insane because I believe the first year of YouTube I only gained about 60 or 70. So to get 1,000 in 1 year, to me is just insane. Yeah, 600,000 watch minutes and a bunch more crazy statistics which I never thought honestly I'd hit this year, but thanks to you guys. So thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.